According to the documentation, the pole item complements the target item to define the orientation of an item. Wow, that's a lot of items, and I'm a little confused by that sentence. To help me understand it and to help you understand it, I thought what we could do is just go ahead and take a look at poll item, see it in use, and see how to set it up from scratch, and then maybe that sentence will make a little more sense for the both of us. To do this, I've got just a null here. We're going to treat that as an object, and we're going to come over to the Setup tab, and I'm going to choose Draw Child Joints, and I'm going to go ahead and draw, say, a hip, thigh, and calf. So upper leg, lower leg. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and select these two, and I'm going to take advantage of, over in Utilities, Additional, I'm going to use Make Joint Chain, and it goes ahead and sets up an IK chain for me with a pole item. The only thing I want to do is select this joint right here and say unaffected by IK of descendants, just so that it doesn't run all the way down to the root. Let's go into the perspective view so we can just take a look. So if I grab the goal and start moving it around, I'm good to go with that. And then if this were a knee, I can position which direction the knee is pointing. So this right here is a pole item, and what it's doing is I've got one of the joints targeting the goal, looking at the goal, and then the pole item is going to allow me to then orient that joint so that I can change the direction that the knee is facing, or if this was an arm, an elbow. Okay, so there was a little bit of magic going on there because I didn't set that up. That's kind of the beauty of Make Joint Chain. It sets it up for us, but so that we can better understand what's going on behind the scenes, and also so that we have a better understanding of what the pole item is actually doing, I thought we could build it from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and hop back over to the side view. I just hit 3 on the keyboard to do that. Go ahead and select this character here, and then under Setup, I'm going to use Draw Joint, and I'm going to go ahead and draw out a joint. And then what I'm going to do, now what we don't see here in this setup, but it's actually there, is there's another joint that gets placed there by the Make Joint Chain. So I'm going to go ahead and use Draw Child Joints, and I'm going to make this small one. Now I'm not going to place it right on top of each other like what's going on over here, just so that we can see them. But if we wanted to mimic this, we'd want to go ahead and place this joint right on top. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the thigh and the calf. So I've got the exact same setup. What you can't see here is that extra joint. So let's go ahead and add some nulls. So I'm going to say goal, and let's start moving it over. And while I'm moving it over, I'm going to hold down Alt, and that's going to allow me to snap it into place. Really handy feature. I'm going to go ahead and make another null, and I'm going to call this one pole. And let's move this over. I'm not going to do the Alt trick because I want to kind of mimic what's going on with this pole item. Okay, so I have all the pieces. Now I just need to set it up, and it'll give us an idea of what's going on with that pole item. So M for motion options, again, unaffected by IK of descendants here. I'm going to move to the next joint. Now this joint is going to be where I start handling the pole item and the targeting. So for target item, I'm going to choose the goal. Okay, and for pole item, I'm going to choose the pole. Okay, so we can already see the target going on in the pole. Don't worry that the joints get rotated because once we set up the IK, we're good to go. But what I would like to show you is under Controllers and Limits and under Rotation, it went ahead and set up, when I chose target item and pole item, it set up point at target, and align to pole. So it's set up for me just by choosing them up here. Okay, I'm going to move to the next joint, and for that joint, Y for rotate, I'm going to go ahead and use heading IK and pitch IK and the rotation, and then I'm going to go down to the knee, and I'm going to choose for pitch, I'm going to choose IK. Now for the last joint, I'm going to go ahead and use that goal object, so goal, and as you can see it swings back the way we would want it, and we're good to go. This is the exact same setup we have with the Make Joint Chain, except again, I could move that right on top so that it would match. But let's go ahead and see it in action. So if I go over to Perspective, okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and select the goal, and just like before, I'm rotating it around. Okay, so I'll bend it back, kind of squeeze it up a little bit, and then I'll use the pole item to decide which direction the elbow or knee is pointing in. So that's a really good use of pole item, is for knees and elbows. And so now when we read the sentence of the pole item complements the target item to define the orientation of an item, it's still a little confusing to me, but I can see it in action here. So what I have is I'm targeting, I have this joint targeting the goal, but to help orient which direction it's going to be facing in, not pointing in, but what it's going to drive this chain, I have the pole item, and that helps me orient the chain here. So just a quick look at the pole item, which is found in the motion options panel right here, just under target item.